We're going to be talking now about Rob's book, Peace Be Still. Rob, what was the experience that you had that inspired you to write this book?
All through my spiritual life, I have wanted the experience of God only. And that led me through Buddhism and through contact with Christian monks, Christian recluses, and contemplative literature. And in the pursuit of a deep experience, a genuine experience with God, there is a certain peace and a silence in the Father that some people seek and some people find, and it doesn't come into the local church very much. And so it was important to write a book on that kind of experience from within that kind of peace and from within the Father himself, so that when somebody reads it, the presence of the Father is with them at the reading. So it's an impartation of the same kind of peace that Jesus had. And the important thing about peace is that many people believe that peace is just a matter of sitting still, like doing meditation. But the peace of Jesus is an assurance that we have when we do the will of God. And when we know we're doing the will of God, it doesn't matter whether we're at peace, at rest, or whether we are disturbed. The assurance that comes to us from God is the peace that this book is writing about.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Rob, with this Peace Be Still book, you run seminars relative to this theme. What do they look like? How do you design them?
The seminars have got teaching in them about the contemplative reality, about how we as human beings, we hunger for the presence of God, we hunger for experiences that bring us not just to being peaceful ourselves, but being peaceful in God, so that there is a real connection between the father and child, so that there is a freedom from orphanhood, and you don't feel lost and outside God's domain, but you are truly connected to God as God is trying to connect to you. So the seminars involve some teaching in that area, followed by some sitting quietly and letting God come in and truly be present with you, so that you enter into that stillness with God, not just stillness in your own psychological quietness, but stillness in the presence of God. And then other parts of the seminar speak about or speak to people's struggles or challenges with God, so that we can clear some of the blockages that people might have in their own psychology, in their own history, in their own pain, in their own story, the narrative of life that the individual person lives with. We want the Holy Spirit to come in there and clear those and establish new patterns of behaviour within us and within each person in the seminar, so that a life of deeper intimacy and real intimacy with the Father begins to manifest effortlessly, as if it's just the natural choice to do that.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dr. Rob. What would somebody get from this book who buys it and reads it, Rob? Dr. Rob?
They would get a couple of things that are different. One of those is that they would enter into the peace of God, because in a sense I've got an agreement with God that when the reader reads it, God will turn up. As I say in my seminars, God shows up. And in this book, God shows up. That's the reason for writing it. It's not some sort of intellectual attempt at describing peace. It's entering into the peace and becoming immersed in the peace, so that God and ourselves enter into a new relationship in the silence of God, in the peace of God. So the person will get that first of all. God shows up. The second thing is that it's important, I think, to show the the breadth of God's activities in the world, whether it be in Pentecostal people, in Catholic people, in Orthodox people, in Lutheran people, in Church of England people, all Christendom has been blessed by Christ and the peace of Jesus. And they have been blessed, we have been blessed by His ability, Christ's ability, to be a bridge for us from time into that eternity of the Father's stillness. And it goes right across the whole of Christianity. It's not based only in one form of Christianity, it's there for all. And so the other part of this book that people get is that God is applicable in their daily life because God has got a program for us to live His will out of His silence and out of His peace in all of the events of our daily life. So in a sense, it's a little bit of it's a guide as well, and a witness to say this is how this silence and this peace is the basis out of which come my decisions, my wife's decisions. I know in your life you live in the same place. Yes. And the book is about examples of how we apply that for people who are still hungry, who have not found it, maybe don't even yet believe in it. But there is the Father is so present and so full and so available, and you watching this, you may be hungry to enter into Him. And this book is a way of entering into Him.
Thank you, Dr. Rob. Obviously, Dr. Rob, there's a different experience for somebody who comes along to one of your seminars compared to somebody who just reads the book. What would they get out of a seminar as distinct from just reading the book?
There's a living impartation within a seminar that cannot be duplicated by reading a book. When you're reading a book, you find that God is working with everything that's contained within yourself. When you come along to a seminar, you're lifted up into a larger domain, a larger realm, because of the involvement of other people there, God's interaction with other people, and you yourself are buoyed by the presence of God moving in other people's lives. So straight away you're taken out of your stuff, in a sense, so that your stuff then can be mobilised in completely different ways, and changes inside of you, opening up of new depths inside of you. Totally different dynamic. Mm-hmm. And it's the changes inside of you and the effortlessness with which new things open up for you when you are in a seminar that don't occur when you're in a book. A seminar is all about processes, and when you're reading the book, in a sense, you're just savouring it on your own terms. But processes don't tend to open up quite so easily as in a seminar, which is targeting that outcome. We want people to come into the seminar, get God, and get changed for how they want to live their lives better. And they get it.
So the best thing for a person is to actually get the book, read the book, and then come along to Dr. Rob's seminar.
Exactly.
Thank you.